From the other side of the globe, a land of contrasts, the burning of a fiery sunset and spectacular underwater images, to a sea of gold and black and the desolate vastness of the outback. The city of Brisbane, nestled on Australia's eastern seaboard, opens its arms to the world's finest gymnasts. Welcome to Brisbane's entertainment center for our continuing coverage of the World Gymnastics Championships. This is the first time the Worlds have ever been held in the Southern Hemisphere. Hi everyone, I'm John Neighbor, and on this special edition of Wide World of Sports, we'll bring you the men's all-around competition and the women's individual event finals, featuring America's Dominique Dawes and Shannon Miller. And if you were with us here yesterday, you saw Miller win the World All-Around title for an unprecedented second time. And Kathy Johnson, Shannon Miller got off to a great start on the uneven bars.
This was the most critical routine for Shannon. Because of her injury, she hadn't been able to train as much as she would have liked on this event. And she did this combination better than I've seen her do this all year. Perfect distance from the bar. A new element she's added right there, the 1.5 twist down to the low bar. Every aspect of the routine was better during the all-around competition, especially the dismount. Watch this. She had trouble in the preliminaries, but she stays perfectly straight and came out with an outstanding landing. Then went over to balance beam and was near perfection throughout the routine. Especially on this skill called the Miller. She invented it, and this is the best she's ever done it in competition. Shannon completely amazed both her fans and doubters alike in this competition. No one thought she could be ready physically for this. Look at the landing.
With her second World All-Around title, Shannon Miller claimed a unique spot in U.S. gymnastics history. Kathy spoke with her earlier today.
Shannon, Kim Zmeskal got to be the first American to be World All-Around champion, but now you get to be first by becoming the first repeat World All-Around champion for the United States. Has that sunk in, and what does it feel like?
It feels great. I don't think it's quite sunk in all the way because I still have 2 more competitions to go, but I'm sure it will when I get home.
To me, watching you out there in this competition, it was a very emotional and personal victory because I've seen you all year long and you've struggled with injuries, you had a growth spurt. Can you describe the emotion that you felt when you knew you had won and you're standing up there on the victory stand for the second time?
Well, it's hard to put into words what I was feeling. I was just really proud to be able to bring home the medal to the United States, and it was definitely better the second time around.
The second time around, though, was not so sweet for Dominique Dawes, who in a repeat of last year's World Championships was in the lead before she stepped up to her final event, the vault.
It was all the more shocking to see Dominique completely miss this vault again, as she has mastered the vault since the last World Championship, competing it numerous times with great success. The crowd expected near perfection, not this.
So the final results in the women's all-around had joy for Miller and sadness for Dawes, who finished 5th. We'll see them both in the women's individual event finals a little later in our program. But first, let's focus on the men's all-around competition, and we'll be featuring the man from Belarus who won 6 gold medals at the Barcelona Games, Vitaly Sherbo, and he is also the defending world all-around champion. And Bart Connor, many people are saying he might be the finest gymnast the sport has ever seen. What can we expect from him this year?
Well, John, in addition to Sherbo's success in Barcelona, in World Championship competition, he's won 12 medals, 6 of them gold. Now, his routines this year are even more exciting than they were this time last year, so it's going to be a terrific competition. There's no way anyone can beat him unless he makes a mistake. And if he does, he'll have some competition from some of his former Soviet teammates and perhaps the Chinese. For the United States, American Scott Keswick is the best hope for the U.S. Twice he's placed in the top 10 in World Championship all-around competition. He could do that well here today.
Well, here's Vitaly Sherbo from Belarus. The 22-year-old leads the field after the first of 6 rotations. He's now on the rings.
On the still rings event, the judges require the gymnast to show swing elements as well as strength elements. Watch this very powerful mount. Nice.
He's very sure of himself, and you can see it in his performances. He sells everything. Oh! A huge mistake. He was pressing up to a handstand and came down short. That's going to be a major deduction. We didn't expect to see that from Sherbo, especially on the rings. This is not his best event, so he can't afford to have a major error here. Oh, I can't wait to see that score. I think the judges are going to crucify him. He knows it.
I can't believe the Great One made this kind of mistake. From the L, he's going to press up to an inverted iron cross, but you'll notice he doesn't make it all the way up to the handstand position and has to lower very quickly out of that position there, down to the cross. Major mistake. This is the trademark for Sherbo. Notice how he crosses the ring straps and then uncrosses them and finishes right in handstand. And of course, he's well known for his landings. Beautiful landing on a double layout with a full twist.
Well, Bart, that blunder was the opening the field was looking for. The official marks not even a 9. It's an 8.950 for Sherbo. That's the opportunity the competition was hoping for. Here at the Brisbane Entertainment Center, there are standings after 2 rotations. Ivankov leads for Belarus. Vitaly Sherbo dropped to 7th place on the basis of his rings routine. Remember, there are 6 individual events that combine for the all-around competition. And you should know that for the first time in history, there is no qualifying round at the World Championships. The field was split into 3 sessions for a day-long final, and our middle or afternoon session produced our 2 current leaders. Russia's Alexei Voropayev was consistent throughout the afternoon.
In addition to his exciting vault, he had a terrific high bar routine combining some release moves that we haven't seen put together in this manner before. Watch this sequence here. It's a double over the bar, immediately to another release move. There it is. Right to a hop full turn. Nice combination. He'll do another double over the bar. That move, you may remember, is the move that Trent Demas from the United States used to win the gold medal in Barcelona. He was very aggressive in all of his exercises. Big dismount. We're not used to seeing that kind of excitement and personality from some of the former Soviet athletes. They're a lot looser nowadays.
Ivan Ivankov is a Vitaly Sherbo teammate from Belarus, and the 19-year-old had much of Sherbo's power and poise. He was the leader throughout the 6 rotations in the afternoon session.
Ivankov, for the last couple of years, obviously has been in the shadow of his more famous teammate, Sherbo, but there's no question he has the same level of gymnastics artistry and a high level of difficulty in all of his exercises. Beautiful finish up to handstand and back down to the flare. Excellent routine on the pommel hooks. Then he went over to the parallel bars and showed us a very difficult routine with some unique moves. A glide on the side and a press to a handstand on one rail to mount. Watch this move here. He did a double back in the middle of the bars. Just a little sloppy on the uprise. A lot of people keep comparing him to Vitaly Sherbo. His gymnastic skills are much the same, but his personality couldn't be more different. He's very quiet, very shy, not like the boisterous Sherbo. Here's the best part of the routine, the double back. You can see how difficult it is to catch this move and do it smoothly. Then on the high bar, he showed a very smooth flowing routine with exciting releases. There's a double over the bar. He was in a little close, but kept the rhythm going very nicely. He has good style. Technique is very clean. The form is excellent. And watch how he nailed this dismount.
Like Voropayev, Ivankov was very consistent throughout the afternoon. His average score over 6 apparatus was over 9.5. Just look at how the sport has grown in nearly 50 years.
Basel, Switzerland. A dozen nations send gymnastic teams to compete for the World Championships. For 3 days, from the parallel bars to the flying rings, the highly trained athletes do their stuff. Try tumbling like this the next time you go to gym class. Now watch in slow motion Walter Lehmann of the champion Swiss team win the all-around world title. It's the last word in trigger-quick timing and well-mannered muscles when the world's top gymnasts vie against each other for international laurels.
We're back in Brisbane, Australia for the World Gymnastics Championships. On your screen, our standings after 2 of the 6 rotations. Just off that list, currently in 8th place, is Valery Belenki, who won a bronze medal in the all-around at the Barcelona Olympic Games, representing the unified team, but now he represents Germany.
Belenki has one of the most beautiful pommel horse exercises, particularly because of the straight body line and the excellent toe point. Watch how many times he stays on the single individual pommel. The judges look for complex combinations on one pommel. Now into the flares and the dismount. That'll score very well.
So now we turn our attention to the high bar. Our next athlete, Li Xiaoshuang from China. He's a 20-year-old who won a gold and 3 silver medals at the Barcelona Olympic Games. He's in 2nd place at the start of this rotation.
It always seems that the Chinese team have the most exciting high bar routines because they have such fluid swinging motions and beautiful body line. Here's the release. Double over the bar. The Kovacs, a little trouble. He caught it a little close. Big second release move. He seems in a little bit of a hurry on this routine. Not as smooth as we normally see from him. Here's the dismount. Double-double laid out. Oh! Little sloppy.
Let's take a look at the dramatic body beat action for this dismount. Watch how he pikes and arches his body right back there to set up the crank for 2 flips and 2 twists. He just misjudged the landing, unfortunately. Shorter rotation.
Well, the judges give Li's high bar routine an 8.950. That won't help him in the rankings. Belenki's pommel horse routine received a 9.6. Vitaly Sherbo will now try to get back into medal contention after his disappointing rings routine. He's not accustomed to being in 7th place. As the Barcelona Olympic Games began with the flight of a flaming arrow, Vitaly Sherbo exploded onto the scene with his 6 gold medals, the most of any athlete at those games. It was a fitting farewell for the last time he would compete for the unified team. But still, one title eluded him, that of World All-Around Champion, the title which he won at last year's World Championships. He is trying to defend that title today.
Sherbo is well known as one of the most explosive vaulters in the world. Watch this. Just a little shorter rotation, but spectacular in the air. Now this vault is rated the highest rating you can get, a 9.8. So even though he was a little short, it's still going to score very well.
Sherbo's mark, a 9.650, and that'll vault him back into medal contention. He's now in 3rd place. Next up on the rings, Yuri Keki, a 24-year-old from Italy, who's the world champion on this apparatus.
Well, this man is known as the Lord of the Rings. Beautiful body line, and watch the strength work in this exercise. Back up rise to a Maltese. Press to an inverted iron cross. Swing front giant to another inverted iron cross. He's not done. Look at that. Now, a couple of years ago, when he tore his Achilles tendon, he couldn't tumble and he couldn't vault, so he spent so much time on the still rings. He perfected his strength work and his clean control. This exercise is absolutely gorgeous. So steady. Double layout. Wow.
Great crowd response. Now let's move over to the parallel bars where Igor Korobchinsky is getting ready. He represents the Ukraine and he won the world all-around title in 1989 and a silver medal on this apparatus at the 1993 World Championships.
In this event, the judges require the gymnast to swing below the bars and above the bars. There's a nice combination right here. Those pirouettes on one arm are called Healy twirls. Very high back toss and a pike double back. Wow, that'll score well. Now, this is a very difficult event to get bonus points from the judges, but because he was so clean, that'll help a lot.
A great dismount by Korobchinsky. By the way, the judges gave Keki's ring routine a 9.687, but he's still pretty far back in the pack. Korobchinsky on P-bars receives a 9.512. As we take a look at our standings, Ivankov is still our leader. Korobchinsky in 7th. We'll be back with more gymnastics from Australia in just a moment.
ABC's Wide World of Sports continues with more of the World Gymnastics Championships.
Welcome back to Brisbane, Australia and the World Gymnastics Championships. John Neighbor along with Bart Connor. We're watching Vitaly Sherbo in 3rd place after 3 rotations. He leapt up from 7th position when he started that rotation. He's now on the P-bars.
Sherbo has a terrific opening sequence right here. Giant with a full. He does 2 in a row, right out on the end of the bars, and then another giant half-turn pirouette and back into the middle. Now watch this. Front 1 3/4. Perfect. He's so smooth on parallel bars. Very clean form, very crisp movements. Here's his dismount pike double. Oh no! We said at the top of the show that if he makes a mistake, he's going to open the door for some of his competitors. I can't believe Vitaly Sherbo, the legend, made a mistake like that. I'm still in shock to see what happened to Sherbo. You just don't see the guy with the kind of focus that he has make a mistake like he did. The back toss, he was trying to balance the handstand. He just laid it back. You could tell right from the bars, his shoulders went back and his left arm just dumped it back. But even at that, normally, you expect from Sherbo to pull out some miraculous landing. He just wasn't able to pull it off today.
The second mistake of the day, a big upset in the making. 8.925 on the parallel bars for Vitaly Sherbo. Now let's go to the American in the all-around competition. Scott Keswick, a graduate of UCLA. He lives in Los Angeles. Member of the 1992 Olympic team.
And this is certainly Scott's best event. He's been in the finals before at the World Championships. He has good swing elements, good strength elements, as you see there, and a huge dismount. Nice combination. Showing good control in the handstand. Now here comes that dismount. It's 2 flips and 2 twists. Well done.
It's been 15 years since American men won a medal at World Championship competition. Next up on the high bar from Korea, Lee Ju-hyung, a 21-year-old who placed 8th in the all-around at the Olympics in Spain.
This routine has a ton of exciting stuff in it. High-flying release moves and some excellent combination work right here at the beginning. Watch this release. It's a double over the bar. Perfect. One-arm giant swings to another release move. Good combination. Here's the dismount. What a landing. I think he's a little surprised at how well he stuck that.
The American Keswick scored a 9.5, and now back at the rings, Valery Belenki. The 24-year-old, we told you, he formerly represented the Soviet national team, and he emigrated to Germany seeking a better life. After 18 months, he earned his citizenship, and now he's representing them at the World Championships.
Belenki has a terrific routine here. Watch that back kip to plange and then press to a handstand. It's very difficult to go from a plange up to a handstand, then down to an inverted iron cross and press back up. Once again, most of the gymnasts are using the strength sequences like this to get the bonus points from the judges. Beautiful, straight body, straight arm press to a handstand. Now he'll swing. Giant swing right to the handstand. This is a very clean routine. Front giant swing. Dismount, lay out, full out. Beautiful. Belenki's been complaining of ankle problems. A lot of pressure on the ankle when you're coming down on this dismount. Laid out, full twisting double. Obviously that stings the old ankles, especially if they're already sore.
Belenki's routine earns a 9.612. Over on the high bar, the Korean Lee received a 9.575 from the judges. So after their first 4 events, the standings you see on the screen, notice that the scores from the afternoon session are holding up as Ivankov and Voropayev are leading the top 2 spots. Defending champion Sherbo drops to 9th. Welcome back to Brisbane on the east coast of Australia. We're now in the 5th of 6 rotations at the World Gymnastics Championships in the men's all-around. Next up, Lee Ju-hyung from Korea. He's currently in 4th place.
Wait till you see this opening tumbling run. It's a laid out double back, but the technique is impeccable. Nice landing. He should do here a combination of front tumbling elements. Here he comes. Front, front, front full. Oh, short a little bit. A good cover though. You notice how he turned back to the floor without having to take any steps. The men's floor exercise routine lasts between 50 and 70 seconds. We look for combinations of back tumbling moves and front tumbling moves. Here's a nice pass for the 3rd tumbling run. Double twist, punch front 1 1/4. This move, or a move like it, is required a balance on 1 foot or 1 hand. Last tumbling run. Just a little shaky on the landing, but strong difficulty. The judges will hit him, though, for that 1 mistake in that 2nd tumbling run.
Next up over at the high bar is Vitaly Sherbo, the defending all-around champion who dropped to 9th place on the basis of his poor dismount on the parallel bars.
Sherbo has a very exciting release combination. 5 release moves in a row. Here it comes. He had trouble with it in the earlier rounds. Here's the 4th, and here comes the 5th. Oh, he left it out. The dismount, laid out, full out. It's just such a shock to see Vitaly Sherbo actually struggling with gymnastics. He does it so easily. Now, we've seen him be a little inconsistent, but when it comes to the finals, he's usually the guy to step up and hit the best routines. Seems like every time he performs, magic happens. Well, it's not happening at this World Championship. He still looks outstanding, but little things like hops on the landing you don't see from Vitaly Sherbo. Even he's struggling a little bit.
Sherbo's mark's a 9.6, and that'll shoot him up the rankings from 9th all the way up to 4th place, just behind Lee, whose floor exercise received a 9.325. Now we go to American Scott Keswick in 15th place at this point, and he'll be vaulting.
Scott Keswick can do just about every vault there is known to man. He's selecting a laid out 1.5 twist here. It's very difficult to land.
Oh, you know, he just didn't get a good push off the horse. That'll be a major deduction, at least a half of a point.
Let's go quickly over to the floor exercise where Igor Korobchinsky is performing.
Korobchinsky laid out full out. Many people felt last year in the World Championships in England that he was robbed of the individual event title on the floor. He's a former champion on this event. Struggling there on his front tumbling. All of the gymnasts are using the same front tumbling combinations to get the bonus points from the judges. In many ways, the routines are starting to look like compulsory routines. Gymnasts going through the international rules and finding the easiest way to get bonus points from the judges, and then they all do it.
His last tumbling run will be a laid out double back somersault. Watch for the landing. Very solid.
Meanwhile, back in the vaulting area, American Keswick scored an 8.975, and so mathematically that makes a medal very unlikely. In the vaulting area again, Valerie Belenki began this rotation in 3rd place.
Belenki is going to show the same vault we saw from Scott Keswick. Laid out 1.5 twist. Oh! We saw that he had trouble with his heel after the rings. Obviously, really worried about that landing. Threw him off a great deal.
Take a look at his right foot when he lands this vault. His ankle rolls over, and he goes flying. He's lucky he didn't get hurt. Almost took out a fern, too.
Belenki gets a 9.0 on the vault. Igor Korobchinsky received a 9.450 on the floor exercise. So that brings up our standings. With one event remaining, Vitaly Sherbo has moved up to 4th place, still chasing his younger teammate Ivankov, who is leading with the scores from the earlier session. We're back in Brisbane for the final rotation in the men's all-around competition at the World Gymnastics Championships. Valerie Belenki at the parallel bars.
Belenki has a terrific parallel bar routine. Watch this opening sequence. Giant full, big swings. Very complicated elements. Uh-oh, there's a deduction for that underbar movement that he did. Let's take a look at what happens here. He does 2 Healy twirls, and then he's going to do a front 1 3/4. After the 1 3/4, he has to do what we call a move of value. Instead, he just pushes back and then glides underneath the bars. Because he didn't do a value part, he'll get a deduction.
So deduction included, Belenki earns a 9.525. That puts him into 3rd place early in this 6th rotation. Now let's go to the pommel horse where the Korean Lee Ju-hyung, who began this rotation in 3rd place, right now the best he can earn is a silver.
Watch for the one pommel work that he does right here, and then he'll transfer to the other pommel right here, and he goes around 1, 2, 3, 4 times before he... Oh, he fell.
That'll knock him out of medal contention. Bart, this is the World Championships. What happened?
Well, most of the gymnasts are trying to get bonus points by staying on one pommel and doing complex movements. When he was transferring to the other pommel, he was just out of balance. He'll lose a half a point and continue his exercise from the place where he fell off, but all hopes for a medal are gone.
Now let's go over to the floor exercise where the defending all-around champion Vitaly Sherbo is going to perform his final event. Remember, he's moved up to 4th place from being as low as 9th earlier. He can salvage his all-around contest with a bronze medal. To do that, he'll have to pass Belenki and earn a 9.525 here.
Great opening tumbling run. Now this is one of his best events. So he'll have to be solid on his landings, but he could do it here if he nails this routine. Nice combination. Now this is where Sherbo shows a lot of his style. Smooth rhythm, nice positions, good splits. We're certainly not used to seeing him fighting for the bronze like this. This routine is very focused though, clean execution, typical of Sherbo. That bell signals that he has 20 seconds in which to do his dismount, double layout, just a slight high. It's up to the judges now.
Remember, he needs a 9.525. Bart, do you think he's going to get it?
Well, it's so hard these days to get a score in the 9.5 to 9.6 range. Certainly he has plenty of difficulty. The acrobatics in this tumbling sequence and the last tumbling run are just as good as they can get, but the landings are critical. We'll just have to see.
So the competition comes to a close as we await the official marks for Vitaly Sherbo. The athletes marching off at a 9.550. The score is good enough to earn a bronze medal for the defending champion, and look at his reaction. Who would have thought he'd be happy with a bronze? A surprise for many of the people here in the stadium. The top two finishers, Ivankov and Voropayev, in the earlier session, their points hold up. Vitaly Sherbo comes all the way back to a bronze medal spot.
Usually if I lost competition, I was very upset. But today, I don't know why. We can see that I almost fell 2 times, and after 2 times, I have to be upset. But I'm very happy. I don't know why. Maybe because my teammates got a 1st place, or maybe I finally got 3rd place because I competed so bad today. I don't know what the feeling.
Well, as Sherbo congratulates his 19-year-old teammate from Belarus, Ivan Ivankov, the new all-around champion, and Alexei Voropayev from Russia, the silver medal winner, applause is also due the defending champion for his valiant comeback. Our coverage continues with the women's individual event finals. Americans Dominique Dawes and Shannon Miller try for more gold on the heels of Miller's unprecedented repeat victory as the world's all-around champion.